Hey, what's up everybody? Nate here from Out of the Basement, bringing you a brand new action figure review today. From Hasbro, we're looking at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Snake Eyes figure. I'm super excited to finally get my hands on. I passed on the deluxe version that was released earlier this year just because I didn't want to drop so much money on something I was so unsure of. But once I saw all the reviews and everything like that, I knew that I wanted Snake Eyes in my collection. And then when they announced the standard version, which is all black and looks better to me personally, I was super happy I waited. He doesn't come with realistic weapons, which is a little bit of a bummer because the other one comes with, you know, Snake Eyes' classic Uzi and stuff like that. But, you know, it's not going to be the end of the world for this figure. But either way, here we are with Snake Eyes. Let's take a look at the package here. Of course, you've got this nice big old window box here. You got a picture of Snake Eyes right there. You can see everything he comes with. G.I. Joe Classified on the bottom. On the side here, some pictures of Snake Eyes in some action poses and his wolf down there. On the back here, you can get a larger image of all of the figures. On the side here, we've got some cool images: a skull, a knife, an eye, a ninja star, and it's O2 because I would assume he's 2 in the line. Same thing on top here. On the bottom, not a whole lot going on, but let's go ahead and open up what may be the best Hasbro action figure of all time. We're going to look at the accessories first, and then we'll jump in to the figure. Okay, so as far as accessories go, you actually get quite a few things with Snake Eyes. First up being this futuristic looking machine gun, which is all black plastic, but it has some nice sculpt work on it. But there's really not a whole lot of paint apps. There's actually no paint apps at all on pretty much any of the weapons. So this is what you're looking at getting. They have these really big holes in them. So I'm not really sure what is up with the giant hole, but then on the other side they have a peg as well, so that's a little ugly and a little distracting. But here's the backpack, which I'm not too interested in. I don't think I'm going to display Snake Eyes with the backpack on, but it's got some nice silver buckles on it. It's sculpted well enough, but again, it's mostly just black plastic. But you can see it's got a peg hole right there, so if you wanted to, you could peg the machine gun into it, make it look like that. You could also peg the sheath right here for the sword, so you could peg it into the backpack there. But I don't know about that. It's a weird design choice. But let's take a look at the sheath here. It's got some nice sculpted details on here. It looks very like leather-like, and of course you've got the Snake Eyes symbol right there, and it's got a little bit of red paint on it on both sides there, so that's pretty cool looking. Not too bad. And of course here is the sword. Again, it's just black plastic. It looks all right. Not too crazy about the sword design, but I think it's good enough. And you can see that it's kind of hard to see there, but there's probably should be some red on the sword down there by the handle. Right here. I'm going to point at it with the sheath right here. Looks like maybe that should be red, but I don't know. But the sword fits in there pretty well. No questions asked. It goes right in. Then we also get a really small knife here, which again has some nice sculpt work on it, but no paint. And then finally we have a smaller handgun type weapon with a giant hole in it again. But yeah, here's a look at it. It's pretty cool. And then you also get a little suppressor here, which just pegs right on so that you can have a little suppressed handgun. It doesn't fit on the machine gun, but yeah, I mean, for 20 bucks, 2 guns, a sword, a knife, and a backpack, not too bad from Hasbro. So let's go ahead and take a look at Snake Eyes. All right, and here is Snake Eyes out of the packaging, fully loaded up, looking really awesome. As you can see on the figure, he's got weapon storage for pretty much every single weapon in his arsenal, which is awesome. Always appreciate some nice weapon storage. He even has weapon storage for the suppressor. Of course, you can see that this figure is mostly just black plastic. There's very few paint app details on him, but that's okay because where this figure really shines is the articulation. I gotta say, this is probably some of the best articulation, if not the best articulated figure in Hasbro's catalog. It combines elements from Marvel Legends and the Power Rangers Lightning Collection line, and some new stuff that I don't think we've seen yet on any Hasbro figure. And I gotta be honest with you guys, just from an articulation standpoint, this guy rivals some SH Figuarts, other imports, in terms of the ways you can get this guy moving, which is amazing to me. I was super happy when I took him out of the package and got to mess around with how articulated he is. So before we jump into that, of course, as always, we're going to take a look at his details close up, because he does have a little bit of paint here and there, but like I said, for the most part, we're just looking at black plastic. So let's go ahead and take him off the stand. All right, and here we are up close and personal, taking a look at Snake Eyes. And you can see he's got a nice mix of matte and gloss plastic throughout the figure. The headband right there is that nice glossy black, and the other parts of the helmet are like a little bit more matte, so you do get a nice variety in the paint scheme. He also has a little bit of red right there above the visor. Kind of wish the visor was silver, because I do like the silver visor look, but I'm not really going to complain about that. The black visor is cool. Definitely is like a super stealthy variant of Snake Eyes, so looks badass to me. Obviously, it's not the complete classic costume, but it is close enough. It's one example of the line that I think is very good, where it's, you know it's Snake Eyes, it's sort of his classic look, but it's also updated and modern. And some of the other figures I think are going too modern. So you can see he's got a floaty grenade belt chest piece right here that actually has a hole in the back, which when you line it up with stuff, I don't think it really works that great, because it kind of ends up giving you like a little bit of a gap there. So if I plug the backpack in while it's also plugged in through the grenade loophole, this is the look you get. And it doesn't look bad when you're looking at it like this, but obviously from the side it's pretty gappy, so you can just plug it in. He's got two holes there, so I've been just moving it to the side a little bit, plugging the backpack in so you can still move that and make it look a little bit more natural. And he does have some cool designs underneath here. You can see he's got some silver rings on his strap there, and also the red Snake Eyes symbol right there in the middle of his chest, painted very well. The sculpt work on here is also pretty nice. You can see there's lots of little details and stuff throughout the costume, pouches, and like on the grenade strap, you got 3 grenades, a little strap there, and the strap also has some nice textured sculpt work to it as well. And then moving down, we got his belt right here, which again has some nice silver paint apps on it. It is a floaty piece as well, so it goes all the way completely free moving so that you can get full range out of this guy. Silver paint's there, it's pretty nice. The Snake Eyes symbol yet again. We got some more texture work on the pants and on the straps and the buckles there for the weapon storage, which the knife doesn't really fit in the weapon storage all that well. When you put it in, that's about as far as you go, and that's pressing down pretty hard. And I'm not trying to you know, break anything, especially this is a very small, thin piece of plastic, but yeah, for some reason it just wants to sit like that. I don't know why. Of course, going through the costume again, tons of sculpted detail. Hey, some paint on the back of a Hasbro figure, and he's got some red on both of his elbows there as well, so that's really nice. The pants sculpting is great. It looks very awesome, very tactical. I love the shiny knee pads that they gave him. Looks very cool. It's a very tactical version of Snake Eyes. Yeah, I am digging the design here. Of course, like I said though, not a whole lot of paint variation going on. It's mostly just plastics. And the belts are also somewhat of floaty pieces here. They stay in place above the thigh here, but you can rotate them around, get them to go up and down a little bit. So again, they don't impede the articulation. So the details are there. It's a nice mix of classic and modern Snake Eyes. So let's go ahead and take a look at his articulation. Snake Eyes can look up very far, almost completely straight in the air, and he can look down very far as well. He's got the neck joint that we saw in the Black series, and he also has independent head articulation as well. So you get tons of side to side. Of course, you can rotate it all the way around if you want, do a little exorcist there, and that's great. Tons of really nice head articulation. The shoulders move out pretty far as well. give you a nice range there. He's got butterfly joints. I don't know if mine are stiff or if they just don't function that well though, but they are there. You get a little bit out of them. But like I said, I think mine might be a little stiff. Of course, the arms can rotate all the way around. You have a bicep swivel right there. You have double jointed elbows that work really well. He comes with 2 trigger fingers, which if I had to say, you know, I wish he could have come with something, was maybe he could have come with some fisted hands, but you get 2 trigger fingers so you can hold the guns, or maybe just a regular sword holding hand, but he does have the vertical hinge on both hands and it rotates around, and that's awesome. Same thing with the other hand, another vertical hinge, which is great. It's how it should be for a character that holds guns, and it rotates around. So already you guys can see that the articulation is pretty crazy. He's got a nice combination of everything we've come to love from modern Hasbro figures. And then there's the ab crunch, goes really far forward, and he goes really far back. And he's got the Power Rangers style double crunch, so you get a crunch at the lower waist and the crunch in the middle of the chest there. So he can go really far, side to side, rotate around, all sorts of craziness there. Really, really nice range of motion. I'm super happy with this figure. The legs can kick out really far, like really far. If you couldn't tell, this is him with his leg on the ground. That's the range of motion you can get out of it because he has drop down hips, which I don't think we've ever seen on a Hasbro figure, at least any Hasbro figure I own. But you can drop the hips down both sides and get that extra range out of there. So that is, just look at that insane range of motion there. Obviously it's a human cannot move like that, but it's so awesome that we can get such crazy range. And that's what I'm saying. This is some articulation to rival some imports here, and I love it. Really nice. As far as moving back, the legs can move back still pretty far, but of course the sculpt of the butt gets in the way. But again, crazy range of motion there. Love what they're doing for this figure. Double knee works great. Of course, you also get a thigh swivel on top of that, and you also get a boot swivel on top of that. So this guy is packed, absolutely packed with articulation. Foot can go down a decent amount. It can go up pretty far. And of course, you've got ankle pivot. So there you go. Honestly, I think this is probably the best articulated figure Hasbro has ever released. It's got literally every bit of articulation you could possibly want without the articulation making the figure look like a gangly mess. He is a little loosey-goosey though. You can see on his chest here, he's a little loose, but other than that, I can't think of any point of articulation that I would want to really add to this guy. But yeah, he's articulated, man. You can get him into some crazy poses. So now we're gonna compare him. I'm gonna put him up against a whole host of Hasbro action figures so you can really get a sense of his scale. Starting out here with some Black Series Shadow Stormtroopers. Of course, we got a review for this, so you should definitely check it out. Then we have the Marvel Legends Moon Knight and the Blue Zeo Ranger from the Lightning Collection. Then we have my previous review, which was the Arkham Asylum Joker from McFarlane Toys and Genji from the Hasbro Overwatch series. And then just for some funsies, we've got the SH Figuarts Star Wars Tank Pilot and the Mafex First Order Stormtrooper. So all in all, I think this figure is absolutely incredible. What it lacks in paint detail, it absolutely makes up for with crazy articulation and a nice, decent load of accessories. Like I said at the beginning of the video though, I would have preferred realistic weapons, but we know Hasbro has a tough time getting figures with realistic weapons into stores, so I can understand why buying it directly they could include it, but the mass market retail versions gotta go with the unrealistic sort of laser looking weapons. It doesn't really bug me all that much besides the random holes that are in both of the guns. So that's my review for Snake Eyes. Definitely pick this one up, even if you're not the biggest G.I. Joe fan like me. Snake Eyes has always been a character I've thought has looked badass, and this figure is just amazing. So much posability, so much fun, all for 20 bucks. Let me know what you guys think of this figure in the comments down below. Did you pick up the deluxe version, or are you waiting to snag the mass market version like I was? Of course, if you enjoyed my review, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. We're always talking about action figures on the channel, mainly Star Wars The Black Series, but every now and then I hit you with something a little different. Of course, I'm Nate from Out of the Basement. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.